Right, I'm shooting this video because I did an airbox mod on my bobber and I made some little aluminium covers to cover up the wiring and a blank space rather than actually going out and buying a leather one, what a lot of people seem to do. I don't really like the leather ones personally because I prefer the racing style of things, and coming from a drag racing background I like to take things off and make things more sort of lightweight and racy rather than what a lot of people like to do and make it look more vintage. So I made some little aluminium covers and I posted a picture of it on Facebook, which got quite a good response. So people were interested and a couple of people actually asked me to make some for them, which I don't have time to do, but I did say I'd make a video about it so that people can see how I've done it and hopefully give people inspiration to be able to, you know, do it themselves or get someone they know to make something. So I've already made them, they're already on, so I'm going to take them to bits and show you sort of how I did it. They're pretty basic really. I like to make things out of scrap and stuff I find lying around rather than actually going out and paying for stuff. I don't like buying things off the shelf when you can think outside the box and make stuff for yourself. So they're pretty simple, they're just little aluminium plates that just screw on. I had some old aluminium sheet lying around and cut it to shape, polished it, and the tricky bit was just making some little brackets for it so that it fits nicely, so that I didn't have to actually chop anything of the original bike or modify anything, because I like to keep it so that I can put it back to standard if I need to. Oh, I forgot about that. There's spaces in there, isn't there? It didn't actually bother me not having covers on here. The right hand side looked alright, but the left hand side you've got the fuse box, you've got a little fuse box and another little fuse knocking around somewhere as well, which, you know, and you can see the wires and stuff and it doesn't look real cool. So that's sort of why I made the covers. And this right hand side one, there's a little 5mm screw which held a little plastic trim on, which I think stops grease from the guard going over the battery and the wiring and stuff what's there. And I actually took that little bit off and used the captivated threads on the clip to fix on the bracket. Like that. So basically it's just an angled bracket. I welded a couple of little nuts on the back. You could actually drill it and tap it, but actually using that spire clip came useful because I could use the original bolt, and it also, while it's on there, it's on a sort of bit of plastic, so it's not rigid mounted, so aluminium doesn't really like vibration. It work hardens and works loose and cracks and goes to shit and things like that. So it's quite nice to have them on a little bit of flexibility so they float around, and I've left a gap between the frame. And one of the main reasons I did it was so that you could see the frame, because it is beautiful. But yeah, pretty simple really. Just a little angled bracket with two holes to fix the screws in. The screw holes on both the plates are different, but I think that's quite cool. I like randomness, and bikes are always different on the engine from side to side anyway. So that's the right hand side. The left hand side, around here, is a bit more tricky. What I'll do is I'll set the camera up and film that. Right, so this side is a little bit more tricky because you've got all these wires and stuff here and they need to sort of fit under the way, or out the way. But all I've done is there's a little, I should imagine it's a cut-off switch or something maybe for the fuel system, because it's got up rope on it, so it's got to be the right way up, and it's rubber mounted as well. So I managed to use them rubber mounts to also bolt my little bracket to. So same thing again, so it doesn't really vibrate and go to crap. I use the original bolts, what hold that little bracket down. Bear with me a second, just undo these bolts. And all it is a little bracket like that, sort of that shape, with them two holes which fit on the original. There's the rubber mounted switch, or whatever that is, I'm not sure. And I just welded a couple of nuts on, like the other side. You can drill and tap it also, and sort of cut it to the right and bent it to the right angle and stuff to fit on there. That took a bit of messing around to get the right angle and the right height and stuff, both sides, but I've done it now, and I might put a pattern down so you can see what height and stuff I did. But hopefully this has given you a little bit of inspiration how I did it. And also these wires tuck quite nicely behind this bracket, and they sit down and are held by the plate. But what I'm going to do also is to hide these wires and to keep it a bit more waterproof now they're not under the covers and the air filters and stuff. An old trick I used to use when I was a kid and I was into radio controlled cars. I used to put all the electronics in balloons, and being Halloween time, there's lots of black balloons about at the moment, so it's quite simple. You just stretch the balloon over. I haven't done this for years, so I don't know how well this is going to work. Over your electrical thingies. Could probably spend a bit more time, maybe get some bigger balloons or something, get this to fit a bit better. There you go. And maybe secure that with a zip tie or something, or some tape. And then you can't see the colours of the wires. Let's see if we can get one on that big fella there, shall we? Probably do a bigger balloon for this. No. Look at that. Tip of the day, if you want to hide your wiring and keep it waterproof, balloons. Black balloons. And that's probably also a good idea for the OBD2 plug on the other side as well. So I hope that's helped. And I'll probably put something up with my dimensions and maybe a pattern of the plates and stuff like that to help as well. Also, what I thought might be useful is showing you how I actually polished the plates after I cut them. That's the bit of scrap I use. It's a bit of aluminium, but it's, I don't know, it's got tin or something in it as well, because it's not quite as soft as aluminium. Basically what I do is I start off with wet and dry sandpaper. I'll start off with a bit of coarse stuff like 800 grit or something like that, just to clean out all the scratches and stuff like that. I won't spend too much time on it for the video, but you don't actually have to spend that much time on something like this anyway. So first of all I'll go over with the 800 or whatever that is. Then I'll use a bit of maybe 1200, 1500, and then finish it off with a bit of 2000 like this. I'm just jumping straight into 2000 now, because this is only a quick video, and you can see the blackness there. That's actually the metal coming off. But using some 1500 grit and then 2000, the 2000 grit's really good for polishing. It really gets it up really nice. It's not a real good rag, is it? You can see how smooth that is now, but it's still not shiny. So then what I tend to do is a bit bit of metal polish. It's good to have a rag which is well used with it and soaked in it. I like the metal polish, I like the way it gives it a bit of darkness. Buff that off. I don't know how shiny that looks in the camera. But you can spend a lot more time doing this. It's just a quick thing just to show you what I do. And then to really finish it off, I use Carnauba Carnauba. And it smells absolutely awesome. So you get some of that on your rag. And you just lightly rub it in. When it's nice and polished, this fills up any little tiny imperfections. You just buff it off dry a bit. I normally leave it for like 5-10 minutes for it to actually harden. And then lightly buff it off. And I think that also sort of repels water and stuff as well. It's a good thing to use to actually keep your aluminium and stuff from corroding. But I don't know if you can see that. That's pretty shiny and I spent bugger all time doing that. So there you go.